Coco Gauff files $25 million lawsuit against Karoline Leavitt. Shocking live racism allegation uncovered. The world of sports thrives on triumphs and defeats, but every once in a while, it becomes a stage for something bigger, something that shakes the very foundation of society. For Coco Gauff, that moment arrived on a night she never expected. During a broadcast she wasn't even part of. It began as a normal evening. It ended as a firestorm, a storm she did not start, but one she would bravely choose to confront. The night everything exploded. It was supposed to be a routine late-night political broadcast, one of those fast-paced shows where debates erupted like fireworks and panelists competed to speak the loudest. Tennis was the last thing anyone expected to be mentioned. But Coco Gauff's name came up during a heated discussion about sports, activism, and the cultural voice of young black athletes. The studio lights glowed, the cameras rolled, and millions watched. That was when Karoline Leavitt made a remark drenched in racial undertones, a remark delivered with a half-smile, the kind that chilled viewers instantly. And the entire world heard it, not edited, not blurred, not ambiguous, a slur wrapped in commentary, a phrase soaked in discrimination, a moment instantly burned into public memory. The studio froze. Panelists shifted awkwardly in their seats. The host looked as if he'd swallowed electricity. But the clip aired, and once something plays live, it cannot be undone. The internet erupts. Within seconds, social media detonated. Hashtag stand with Coco, hashtag say no to racism, hashtag accountability now. Millions of comments poured in. Some demanded apologies. Others demanded resignations. Journalists scrambled for statements. Fans were furious. Athletes voiced their support. But the person at the center of the chaos, Coco Gauff, was quietly sitting in her Florida home, stunned. Her phone buzzed relentlessly. Notifications filled her screen faster than she could read them. Her mother called out from the kitchen. Worry threaded through her voice. "Coco? Honey, you might want to sit down." Her father clenched his jaw. Her coaches exchanged looks. Her friends were already texting furiously. Coco exhaled softly as she watched the clip once, twice, 3 times. Each replay dug deeper, hitting wounds she'd learned to hide, pain she'd grown up maneuvering around. This wasn't just rude. It wasn't just offensive. It was a direct attack on her identity, her humanity, her worth, and she refused to let it slide. The decision. Her parents sat beside her, their faces steady and full of unspoken support. The room felt heavy, but Coco's voice cut through the tension with startling clarity. "I'm filing a lawsuit." Her father nodded. He had taught her strength. Her mother squeezed her hand. She had taught her grace. And Coco, now a young woman defined not just by her talent, but by her unbreakable spirit, felt something shift inside her. This was not merely about her. It was about every black athlete treated as less, every young girl watching, every voice silenced under the weight of racism disguised as commentary. She wasn't seeking revenge. She was seeking justice. The announcement that shook America. The next morning, Coco called a press conference. Reporters gathered in a tightly packed room. Cameras flashed like lightning. A wall of microphones awaited her words. When she stepped onto the podium, silence washed over the room. Wearing a simple navy blazer and her signature braids pulled neatly behind her, she looked calm, yet fierce. She began, "Last night, racist remarks were made about me on live television. Remarks that cut deeply, not because they were cruel, but because they were meant to diminish who I am." Cameras clicked in rapid sequence. "I am filing a $25 million lawsuit against Karoline Leavitt for defamation, emotional distress, and civil rights violations." A collective gasp rippled across the room. But she wasn't finished. "This case is bigger than me. It's about showing the world that racism, on or off camera, has consequences." Reporters leaned forward, mesmerized. Coco didn't raise her voice once. She didn't need to. Strength, after all, doesn't always roar. Sometimes it stands, steady and undeniable. Karoline Leavitt's reaction and the aftershock. Karoline responded immediately. It was a misunderstanding. Coco is overreacting. She is being used politically. But her words only fanned the flames. Critics condemned her. Her supporters rallied behind her. the network issued a carefully worded statement, one that seemed more concerned about sponsors and accountability. The media world split into factions. The sports world united almost entirely behind Coco. Tennis legends praised her bravery. Celebrities shared messages of solidarity. Communities organized marches and online campaigns. Coco's name became a symbol of something far bigger than tennis. Behind the scenes, Coco's private battle. Fighting a public battle is hard. Fighting a private one is harder. One evening, Coco sat alone in her hotel room in New York, staring at the city lights below. Her heart was heavy with responsibility. She had filed a lawsuit voluntarily, but the weight of it pressed on her shoulders like invisible armor. Her best friend FaceTimed her. "Are you okay?" Coco hesitated. "I'm trying to be." She looked down at her hands, steady but tired. "I didn't want to be in this position," she whispered. "I just want to play tennis. I didn't want to become a symbol." Her friend smiled softly. "But you didn't choose this moment, Coco. The moment chose you, and you're handling it with more courage than anyone else could." Coco wiped her eyes, breathing deeply. She wasn't fighting alone. Millions were standing with her. That made all the difference. The courtroom battle. The courtroom was packed the day the hearing began. The verdict, justice delivered. After hours of deliberation, the judge returned. The courtroom tensed. Karoline Leavitt was found liable for defamation and civil rights violations. The network was also found responsible for allowing discriminatory speech on air. Damages were awarded. Mandatory reforms were ordered. And for the first time in its history, the network was required to broadcast a formal apology during primetime hours. Coco exhaled deeply, relief washing through her like warm sunlight. This wasn't victory. This was healing. Coco's final message to the world. 1 week later, Coco gave an exclusive interview. The host asked, "Do you feel you won?" Coco smiled gently. This wasn't about winning. This was about being seen, and making sure others are seen too. The host nodded. "And what do you want people to remember from all this?" Coco looked straight into the camera. "That your voice matters, even when it shakes, even when the world tries to silence you, especially then." Her words echoed across millions of homes, not as a tennis star, not as a lawsuit plaintiff, but as a young woman standing tall in the face of injustice. The legacy of courage. Coco returned to the tennis court with fire in her veins. Every step felt lighter. Every swing felt stronger. Every victory felt deeper. She had faced darkness. She had confronted it publicly, and she emerged brighter than ever. Her legacy would not be defined only by trophies, but by courage, truth, and unshakable dignity. Coco Gauff had not just won a case. She had rewritten the narrative, and the world would never forget it. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.